No one goes in the pool at pool parties. We stand around the pool.
Right. So maybe I don't even have to wear a bathing suit at all.
Well, of course you do. It's a pool party.
I love that Ella, has beat cancer and it's kind of given her this fresh look on life. And especially at a very pivotal time in her life, it's giving her a different lens to see things by.
Totally right. I mean, it really struck us that, as a middle schooler, I was totally ruled by insecurity. As an adult, I still am, but which is why I'm sweating profusely right now. No, I'm joking. But so for Ella, as a teenager and for a middle schooler, to have this power of perspective where she's not going to sweat the small stuff. She's not going to let those small insecurities that once sort of ruled her take control anymore, because she's sort of gotten this power from the experience that she had with cancer. That was just really inspiring to us. And we thought was sort of allowed us to create a sort of superhero from the real world, and to place her amongst friends and peers and classmates who don't have that same superpower, and watch her go back into the world was really just sort of felt like fertile ground for us as writers, and felt like an interesting world to explore.
And interesting in the way that others relate around her too, as well. Like I've gotten to see a little bit of it, and the idea of some friends that have walked through it with you, and other friends that weren't present, maybe because they didn't know how to handle it, or maybe because they wanted to ignore it. But maybe talk a little bit about the way others around us perceive things too.
Jeff and I did a ton of research when we started, set out to make this show, and we reached out to an organization, Teen Cancer America, who specializes in teenagers with cancer, and they put us in touch with a lot of people who had gone through this, and really all of it came from the research and from talking to these people with firsthand experience, and what they all said was that it shocked them who was there for them and shocked them who wasn't. The character of Grady, it really affected siblings a lot, because, it's interesting, but the siblings would have these very conflicted feelings that obviously would feel sorry for their sibling who was sick, but at the same time, a lot of the time they would feel jealous, which was really interesting to think about, because you don't imagine someone being jealous of someone going through something terrible, but the attention, the love, the sort of the things that sort of the parents, all of their attention going to their sibling would really affect these siblings of kids with cancer. So that just felt like fertile ground to us as writers to sort of explore all these different worlds. And, the character of Kai, who maybe wasn't a close friend with Ella before this experience, but really stepped up to the plate. Other characters who maybe were close, but then couldn't handle it, sort of had to, receded a little bit into the background. And Grady's relationship with his sister really, evolving in some positive ways, a lot of negative ways as well. It just all felt like really interesting, fertile ground as writers.
Yeah, I agree. And obviously cancer is the catalyst for this conversation. But as you mentioned, you could have one child that's a star athlete, and the family is all about their diet, where they're playing for the weekend, where they're doing, and then the rest of the kids are like, what's going on with me? So I love that there's that universal aspect as well. Go ahead, Jeff.
I was just saying, yeah, I'm still here too. That's it, exactly. I know exactly. When my sister, I was the one, and I was taken around, my parents took me every sport. And my sister would just sit back and was like, "Where's my love? Why am I not loved?" And then something bad happened to her where she had this, skin problem, and then all of a sudden I became the jealous one because she got all the love. So I guess it's just endless when it comes to jealousy and siblings. But
it also has all those, ripe things that happen at that age of your life, and that you're internally processing too, like, what can I handle? I want to be able to do something, but maybe not ready for that yet. Across the board, or different triggers. So maybe talk a little bit about that universality of it.
I think the overall message of our show is really that, these small fears that seem important, or these trivial matters that take up so much of our time and energy and stress, maybe in the grand scheme of things aren't so important. And appreciating the moments that we have, really, they're a gift, and we should all live our lives to the fullest and take advantage of every moment that we have. And I think, given that what the world has experienced in the last couple of years with COVID and all, I think we all have collective trauma. Maybe it's not, Ella had cancer, but we all have gone through things that could either break us or make us. And to us as writers, we thought sending that out to the world. This show was created and conceived of before a pandemic existed, but it just became all that more relevant to us. That we all could take this message of embracing the moment and cherishing today as opposed to worrying about where we're going to be in the future or what happened in the past, I think is a great message that I know I can certainly apply to my life.
Absolutely. And the moments where you need to be brave, or you have to, yeah, we've all just gone through something where it's forced us to kind of reflect and analyze and say what really is the most important. Jeff, do you have a specific experience within your background that you can think about and say, man, I'm so glad that I took that risk, or I didn't sweat the small stuff because this was able to come to fruition because of it?
Honestly, just becoming a writer, honestly, was terrifying for me. I mean, it's not as scary as going through something else, but honestly, like just taking that chance and my father saying, you're just going to make donuts for the rest of your life, or deliver donuts and take strawberries out of the fruit cups. But it was like, I just kind of stuck with it, and I kept a positive attitude going all the way through it. And I think it paid off for me with that. And, I try to tell my son that, like, you got to take big chances. You got to be positive. You don't know, you fail, but at least you tried. And I think that's the other thing with Alice's character, which is so cool, is like she's going out into this world, and like she wants to share that positive energy, but that everyone else is not there yet with her. So it's such, it's hard for her to get everybody to see that. And that's a challenge, so every day is a challenge, but she finds her way through.